Lei Jixi wakes to a sunny morning with his heavy orange cat, Orange, kneading his neck.
Startled by a sudden wake-up call, the young boy bolts upright as his cat leaps away.
Realizing he completely overslept, Lei Jixi sits in bed with a look of pure morning panic. He scrambles down the stairs, explaining his failure to set a new alarm for the school ceremony. While he hurriedly ties his shoes, Lin Rong urges him to eat a quick, delicious breakfast. With a bright smile, Lei Jixi asks his stepmother about his older brother, Song Yu. Learning Song Yu is already on school duty, Lei Jixi panics, realizing the ceremonies are held together. He rushes out the door, offering a playful goodbye to his white fluffball of a dog. Navigating the bustling morning streets, he notices a familiar rice cake vendor is missing for the day. Friendly neighbors greet the polite boy, complimenting his growth as he heads toward his first day. The local community showers him with affection, wishing him luck as he enters the stressful 9th grade. Lei Jixi charms the neighborhood elders, politely declining a full meal for a simple, quick school sandwich. Passers-by marvel at his doll-like features, whispering about his striking appearance as he cycles past. He pedals toward school with a joyful wave, leaving the friendly street behind in a flurry of petals. The morning sun bathes the school grounds as students gather for the highly anticipated opening ceremony. His friend Zhang Yufan delivers a sudden, playful scare, catching Lei Jixi off guard at the gate. The two boys worry about being late and the strict uniform inspections carried out by duty students. A sudden chill of dread hits Lei Jixi when he realizes his uniform is missing its name tag.
Fear mounts as they spot the vice principal, notoriously nicknamed Compass, prowling for any dress code violations.
The strict administrator ruthlessly scolds a student, emphasizing that their appearance represents the school's entire reputation. Desperate to avoid the disciplinary list, Lei Jixi begs Zheng Yufan to help him hide the infraction. The boys attempt a stealthy shuffle past the authority figure, hoping their small statures remain unnoticed. A sharp, booming command halts them in their tracks, singling out the student without a name tag. Paralyzed by the confrontation, Lei Jixi braces himself for a public reprimand and the ensuing consequences. The vice principal looms over them, demanding to know his class, while the boy stammers an apology. A harsh lecture follows about the simplicity of wearing a tag, leaving Lei Jixi visibly shaken. Just as hope fades, a firm hand suddenly reaches out and takes hold of the boy's arm. In a silent, confusing moment, a mysterious person makes contact with the stunned and wide-eyed student. Discreetly, the stranger slips the missing name tag directly into Lei Jixi's open, trembling palm. He looks up to find his brother, Song Yu, standing there with a cool, detached expression. Song Yu, the dark-haired duty student, gazes at him with an aura of calm, silent authority. The older boy's presence is commanding yet protective, providing a silent shield against the vice principal's ire. Lei Jixi softly calls out to his brother as Song Yu turns to walk away without a word. A quiet instruction to put the tag on follows, leaving Lei Jixi watching his brother's retreating back. Confusion ripples through the scene as the boy holds up the tag he supposedly forgot. The vice principal's anger vanishes instantly, satisfied that the boy is actually in proper attire after all. They bolt toward the classroom, though Jiang Yufan remains deeply suspicious of the secret handoff he witnessed. Safely inside, his friend demands the truth about how the tag ended up with his brother. Lei Jixi hesitates, his mind drifting back to the long history and complex bond they share. Thunder crashes. The memory shifts 11 years back to a dark, stormy night filled with jagged lightning. Song Jin returns home through the torrential rain, carrying a small, bundled child into the house. He introduces the young, sleepy boy to his son as a new member of their family. Two young boys stare at one another, beginning a shared life neither of them truly expected. A tragic revelation unfolds as the adults discuss the parents lost to a sudden mountain avalanche. In the quiet of the kitchen, they resolve to raise their childhood friend's orphaned son as their own. Boom! The storm outside matches the internal upheaval of a child too young to understand death. A tiny, tearful Lei Jishi stands alone in the dark hallway, crying out in his loneliness. Rumble! Thunder rolls as young Song Yu finds the toddler and questions his presence in the hallway. Patting the child gently, the older boy offers a comfort that effectively silences the toddler's frightened tears. In a tender flashback, young Lei Jishi clings to his older brother, Song Yu, finding safety in his presence. Years passed as they grow together, with a curious Lei Jishi observing nature while Song Yu quietly reads nearby. Excitement fills the morning commute until Song Yu gently shushes his exuberant little brother on the public bus. A pivotal childhood memory surfaces as Song Yu calls Lei Jishi back, forever changing the dynamic of their bond. Song Yu delivers 3 strict rules, beginning with a demand that Lei Jishi never call him brother in public. The older boy turns his back, leaving a cold distance between them that the young boy must now navigate. Gazing down with a stoic expression, Song Yu asks if his younger ward can truly uphold these new boundaries. Though pained, Lei Jishi accepts the distance, fearing that being completely ignored would be a far worse fate. Returning to the present, Jang Yufan presses for the real story behind the miraculous reappearance of the name tag. Lei Jishi argues that his unique features make him unmistakable, though his friend remains hilariously skeptical of the situation. Relief washes over the boys as they recount the narrow escape from disciplinary action under Song Yu's watchful eye. From a distance, Lei Jishi watches the authoritative Song Yu perform his duties, a silent wall between their shared lives. A soft, determined smile touches Lei Jishi's face as he resolves to protect the secret of their complicated relationship. The scene shifts to grade 9, class 8, where a teacher's welcoming voice calls the students into the room. The boys scurry to their seats, hoping to avoid further trouble as the first day of school officially begins. Whispering about the upcoming ceremony, Jang Yufan reminds his friend to maintain perfect behavior to avoid the vice principal. Confusion strikes as Lei Jishi discovers an unexpected item tucked away inside his school bag during the quiet morning. It's an anonymous gift. However, the polite boy immediately decides he must return the expensive pen to its owner. Munching on his breakfast, he worries that keeping the gift might send the wrong signal to a hopeful admirer. With a focused gaze, he concludes that as a 9th grader, he is far too young to consider romantic entanglements. Jang Yufan is stunned by his friend's moral compass, comparing his good behavior to the more rebellious local students. Radiating charm, Lei Jishi promises to handle the rejection with kindness as he finishes his quick school sandwich. The bell rings, signaling the students to move toward the gymnasium for the grand opening ceremony of the year. In his haste to follow the crowd, a sudden, sharp snap sounds as a small pocket slips unnoticed to the floor. Struggle ensues as the chibi boy tries to juggle his breakfast and supplies, unaware of the impending medical crisis. Chewing quickly, he follows Jang Yufan out of the classroom, leaving his forgotten emergency medicine behind on the desk. A lingering sense of unease follows the boy as he finishes his juice, oblivious to the mistake he just made. He races down the sunlit hallway, eager to join the rest of the student body for the morning assembly. Entering the packed gymnasium, Lei Jishi searches in vain for a trash can to dispose of his sticky food wrapper. Rumors swirl among the girls about daring confessions being made to the legendary school hunk, the cold-hearted Song Yu. Overhearing the chatter, Lei Jishi fixes his hair, wondering if his brother will be the one taking the stage. Internal comparisons arise between Song Yu's detached aura and Lei Jishi's own warm, approachable, and striking physical appearance. He finds the public's obsession with comparing their looks both confusing and entirely unnecessary given their hidden family bond. Suddenly cornered, a curious girl asks Le Jishi for his personal opinion on the mysterious and high-achieving senior Song Yu. The question leaves him paralyzed, forcing him to choose between his secret knowledge and a convincing, distant lie. Thinking fast, he offers a polite, generic compliment about his brother's good looks and impressive academic standing. He defends Song Yu's character, but nearly slips up when he realizes he shouldn't know his brother's personality so well. The surrounding girls lean in with predatory curiosity, sensing there is more to his knowledge than he is letting on. Jiang Yufan jumps in, framing Song Yu's intervention with the name tag as a simple act of a helpful senior. Haunted by the past, Le Jishi huddles in the crowd, terrified that any exposure will lead to permanent abandonment. As the boring ceremony drones on, a sharp, sudden discomfort begins to bloom deep within the boy's stomach. Sweat beads on his forehead as the world begins to blur, the first signs of a dangerous allergic reaction. Panic sets in as his airway tightens, making every single breath a desperate and agonizing struggle for survival. Collapsing in the middle of the crowded floor, Le Jishi clutches his chest as the shadows of unconsciousness close in. A piercing amplifier screech cuts through the air as Song Yu steps up to the microphone to address the school. The senior begins his speech with calm authority, unaware that his younger brother is dying just a few rows away. Fading fast, Le Jishi looks toward the stage, but his brother's voice sounds like a distant, unintelligible echo. Despair hits as he checks the wrapper, realizing he accidentally bought regular wheat bread instead of the safe rice version. Chronicling the horror of his condition, the narrator explains that his severe wheat allergy triggers life-threatening asthma attacks. Vision tunneling. Le Jishi realizes with a final, terrifying thought that his emergency medicine is still back in the classroom. From the podium, Song Yu freezes mid-speech, his gaze locking onto a commotion in the distant student crowd. Looking down, the black-haired senior spots the brown-haired boy collapsed and struggling for breath on the floor. Fear and worry etched on his face, Song Yu watches as Le Jishi fights against a severe allergic reaction. Teachers panic and call for help as the gymnasium erupts in chaos around the suffering, dazed student. Gasping and coughing, Le Jishi's vision blurs as his airway tightens, making every single breath an agonizing battle. Clack! A sudden thud echoes as Song Yu drops everything, abandoning his duty to save his younger brother. Breaking his stoic mask, the black-haired senior stares at the scene with an expression of intense, desperate concern. Stunned faculty watch as the representative speaker sprints off the stage, rushing toward the fallen boy in need. Wang Cheng, the homeroom teacher, supports Le Jishi while desperately urging him to stay calm and keep breathing. Song Yu arrives like a storm, his authoritative presence instantly demanding space as he reaches his brother's side. Swiftly reaching into his uniform pocket, the older boy retrieves the emergency inhaler he carries specifically for this crisis. Crouching down, Song Yu orders the crowd to move back, insisting that only he knows how to help. With a firm hand, the older boy reaches out to loosen the tight tie of Le Jishi's school uniform. Song Yu lifts the boy's chin, his eyes focused and steady as he prepares to administer the life-saving medicine. Holding him close, Song Yu guides the gasping boy through several hits of the inhaler until he finally exhales. Breathe! A rhythmic heartbeat line appears, signaling that the boy's heart rate is finally stabilizing after the crisis. As the color returns to Le Jishi's face, the homeroom teacher suggests a visit to the clinic for rest. Dazed and vulnerable, the recovering boy looks up into Song Yu's eyes and softly calls him brother in public. In a moment of pure instinct, Le Jishi repeats the forbidden word while the older boy watches him intently. A stunned silence follows as the vice principal and students realize the secret connection between the two boys. Shock ripples through the crowd, especially for Jang Yu-fan, who stares in disbelief at the revealed family bond. Later, the scene shifts to the quiet school infirmary, where Le Jishi finally rests comfortably on a bed. Flashbacks recall the painful childhood bullying he endured because his unique, light features made him stand out from others. Over time, those same unique features and high grades turned his former bullies into a crowd of admiring followers. Outside, teachers and staff are stunned by the severity of the reaction and the seniors' incredibly quick response. Jang Yu-fan peeks through the clinic door, looking relieved yet deeply curious about the drama he just witnessed. Bringing a blue drink, Jang Yu-fan informs his friend that the teacher has given him permission to go home. The conversation turns to Song Yu's miraculous intervention, leaving Jiang Yu-fan suspicious of the incredible coincidence of the medicine. Le Jishi sips his juice while his friend recounts how the senior allegedly found his name tag beforehand. The boy spits out his drink when Jang Yu-fan mentions how close they looked during the rescue. Panic sets in as Le Jishi realizes he publicly called Song Yu brother, breaking their most sacred rule. He remembers the intense warmth of that older boy's embrace, fearing their long-guarded secret is now completely exposed. The reality is daunting. The hidden relationship they maintained for 2 years is now the talk of the school. Looking downward with a mix of shame and worry, the boy wonders how this slip-up will change everything. He stares at the carton in his hands, lost in a whirlwind of complicated emotions about his family life. Sunlight streams through a window as the topic of foster care is mentioned in their private bedside conversation. Jiang Yu-fan asks about the lack of adoption, prompting Le Jishi to explain his deep loyalty to his parents. A warm memory of his biological parents surfaces, highlighting his uncle's wish that they never be replaced. Despite his embarrassment, the boy admits he can imagine how cool Song Yu looked during his dramatic rescue. In his mind, he sees his brother as a beam of light cutting through the darkness of his crisis. A sweet, determined smile touches his face as he realizes the juice tastes better after being saved by Song Yu. Finished with his drink, he tosses the carton into the trash, ready to leave the clinic behind him. Curiosity remains as Jiang Yu-fan asks about the very first time Le Jishi discovered his life-threatening wheat allergy. As they walk, a girl with short brown hair approaches Le Jishi, calling his name with a nervous expression. Blushing furiously, the student from class 11 asks if he is feeling okay after his collapse in the gym. She stands there with her hands clasped together, looking deeply relieved to see him back on his feet. In a friendly chibi scene, the polite boy thanks her for her concern, while his friend watches curiously. Jiang Yu-fan wonders who the girl is until the realization strikes him about a previous anonymous encounter. He identifies her as the girl who left the secret gift in the boy's backpack earlier that morning. The girl admits she left the items on his desk before he arrived, hoping he would like the surprise. Le Jishi politely begins to return the gift, thanking the short-haired girl before delivering a gentle refusal. From the shadows, the black-haired senior watches the interaction with a cold, unreadable expression on his face. Explaining his family's strict rules, Le Jishi returns the purple gift box, apologizing for being unable to accept it. Radiating kindness, the boy compliments her handwriting and the effort she put into choosing such a thoughtful gift. He remains firm but gentle, his profile glowing in the sunlight as he finishes his polite explanation. To soften the blow, he kindly suggests that the pen she chose actually suits her much better than him. The girl's direct question about his love life catches Le Jishi off guard, leaving him momentarily stunned and speechless. Internal thoughts drift toward the meaning of true affection, contrasting general liking with a much deeper, more exclusive bond. He quickly dismisses the idea of a relationship, claiming academic focus and parental pressure are his only current priorities. Song-yu lingers nearby, his presence a silent anchor as he overhears his younger brother's careful rejection of the girl. As the pair walks past, the senior remains stoic, hiding his true thoughts behind a mask of cool indifference. Trying to lighten the mood, Lo Jishi suggests a group trip to the vending machine for some cold drinks. Jiang Yufan eagerly leads the way, oblivious to the emotional tension lingering between the brothers in the quiet hallway.
A panicked chibi memory flashes through his mind as he recalls blurting out the word brother in public.
"Wait for me," the boy shouts, sprinting toward the school gate to catch Song-yu before he leaves. In a sweet chibi scene, La Jishi explains that he bought drinks for everyone and put them in the machine. Catching his breath, the boy finally reaches his brother's side, relieved that the senior didn't leave without him. Touching his hair nervously, Le Jishi admits he was terrified that the morning's disaster had made Song-yu ignore him. He offers a pink can of juice as a peace offering, hoping to bridge the gap created by his mistake. Song-yu's gaze softens slightly as he notes that the younger boy's health seems to have fully recovered. Le Jishi looks up with wide, hopeful eyes, searching for any sign of forgiveness in his brother's steady expression. Sunlight glints off the pink juice can as the boy prepares to hand over his small, thoughtful gesture. Clambering onto the back of the bicycle, Le Jishi settles in for the ride home, grateful for the familiar routine. Song-yu puts in his earphones, creating a wall of music as he begins to pedal through the school grounds. Swish, the bicycle glides down the sun-dappled road, the two boys moving in silent tandem through the falling leaves. Le Jishi notices his brother's unusual silence, sensing a lingering weight in the atmosphere between them. Staring straight ahead, the black-haired senior remains uncharacteristically brooding, his expression suggesting he is far from happy. Reaching forward, Le Jishi begs his brother not to tell Aunt Rong about his life-threatening allergic reaction. Song-yu glances back, his curiosity piqued as he asks for clarification on what exactly he should hide. As they wait at the intersection, a bright green traffic light signals that it's finally time to move forward. Panic flares as Li Jishi recounts the details of his collapse and his accidental public confession of their bond. Exhausted by the day's drama, the boy leans his head against his brother's back, seeking comfort and stability. Song-yu shifts the topic toward early romance, teasing his brother about the girl he was just talking to. Flustered and blushing, Le Jishi vehemently denies having any romantic feelings for the student from class 11. He explains the rejection in detail, showing the juice can as proof of his merely friendly intentions. Chibi versions of the pair continue their bickering as Song-yu jokingly threatens to report the girl's public confession. Screech! The bicycle comes to a halt at their destination, and Song-yu curtly orders his brother to dismount. Looking up at the grand building, Le Jishi realizes they have arrived home, though the tension still remains. Walking side by side, the boy laments that, despite all his explanations, his older brother still seems deeply displeased. Inside, they are warmly greeted by Grandpa Zhang, who playfully compares the brothers' heights as they enter the restaurant. Professor Zhang hands over a box of food, expressing his wife's love for the dish before heading home. A feast is spread across the table as Aunt Rong serves dinner, asking the boys about the opening ceremony. Gulp! A chibi Le Jishi freezes mid-bite as the conversation turns toward the events of the school morning.
Aunt Rong asks if Song-yu's speech went well, unaware of the medical crisis that unfolded during his presentation.
A tense silence falls as the two brothers lock eyes, both aware of the secrets they are keeping from her. "I didn't," the boy stammers in a chibi panic, terrified that the truth is about to be revealed. Aunt Rong suddenly takes the blame, admitting she accidentally mixed up their name tags while doing the laundry. Whew! Le Jishi exhales a massive sigh of relief, thankful that the immediate danger of discovery has passed. Song-yu continues his meal in silence, his focused expression hiding his thoughts about the day's chaotic events. Haunted by the near exposure, Lejishi remains on edge, wondering if their secret is truly safe for now. Lejishi offers a sincere apology for ruining the speech, promising to be more careful with his diet.
Song Yu questions if interrupting the ceremony was the real problem, leaving the younger boy startled by his tone.
The black-haired senior asks about the whereabouts of the medicine, while his brother looks on with a guilty expression.
Explaining his lapse, Lejishi admits he ran out of old medicine and left the new, unopened bottle behind.
Clasping his hands, the boy recounts his unexpected seizure, while Song Yu asks what would happen without his presence.
Deeply shaken, Lejishi realizes the true danger of the incident as Song Yu watches him with intense, somber eyes. Song Yu delivers a harsh reality check, reminding the younger boy that he cannot always be by his side. A devastated Lejishi asks why his brother would say such a thing, his appetite completely vanishing from the stress. Internal thoughts reveal that Song Yu's cold words inflict much deeper pain than any physical allergic reaction ever could. The boy stares at the untouched dessert on the table, the emotional weight of their conversation hanging heavily between them. Memories of elementary school surface, showing how Song Yu has consistently acted as his savior during previous medical crises.
A present-day memory of Song Yu's quick medical intervention reinforces the deep, life-saving bond the two brothers share.
Looking downward with watery eyes, Lejishi struggles to imagine a life where his brother isn't there to help. Visuals of the pair walking in opposite directions illustrate the boy's profound fear of being left to face danger alone. Standing alone in the shadows, the brown-haired boy looks heartbroken as he contemplates a future without his constant protector. Determined to change, Lejishi vows to carry his medicine every day to prevent a repeat of the morning's disaster. Back in the dining room, the brothers share a quiet, lingering look as the tension slowly begins to dissipate.
Song Yu meticulously removes unwanted ingredients from a bowl, performing a familiar, silent act of care for his younger brother.
Telling him it's time to eat, the senior signals that the argument is over, much to Lejishi's relief. In a sweet chibi scene, the pair enjoys lotus root together, a dish Lejishi knows is his brother's favorite. The younger boy insists he will never grow tired of their daily routine, though Song Yu playfully dismisses the sentiment.
Lejishi argues passionately that variety is unnecessary when you already have the things you love most in front of you.
Song Yu asks if he truly isn't bored with their life, his expression unreadable as he studies his brother's face. Holding his chopsticks, the brown-haired boy listens intently, his gaze fixed on the older boy during their quiet dinner.
Close-up panels highlight the contrasting expressions of the brothers as they navigate the complexities of their long-term bond.
With a bright, happy smile, Lejishi confirms that he could never get tired of his favorite person and things. A chibi Song Yu is visibly caught off guard by this sincere declaration, his chopsticks frozen in a moment of surprise. The boy lets out a soft, bashful laugh, his face glowing with affection and the comfort of being home. Offering his favorite lotus seed paste balls, Lejishi's kindness causes Song Yu to look away with a soft, pensive expression. Later that evening, Song Yu encourages his brother to take a nap after finishing the meal to help him recover. Chibi Lejishi laments the staggering amount of high school homework, jokingly fearing it might kill him before his allergies. Song Yu watches his brother sleep, his usual mask of indifference softening into a look of deep, protective tenderness. Suddenly waking, Lejishi calls out to his brother with wide eyes, seeking a connection in the quiet room. The two boys share a close moment in the soft light, the younger boy reaching out toward the senior's steady presence. Lejishi asks if Song Yu remembers his very first allergic reaction, sparking a shift into a deep childhood memory. A flashback begins on a rainy night years ago, when a 6-year-old Lejishi first entered the Song family home. Young Song-yu initially feared losing his parents' affection to the newcomer, but found himself quietly observing the strange child. Watching the toddler struggle to speak, the older boy wonders why the little guy is so clumsy compared to himself.
In a touching gesture, little Lei Jishi offers his favorite toy train as a peace offering to his new older brother.
Song-yu admits in his thoughts that the boy was incredibly cute, rivaling the Pomeranian he had always wanted. On his third day with the family, the young boy begins wailing for his parents, his cries echoing through the house. Holding the toddler's hand, young Song-yu bluntly tells him to stop crying because the noise is giving him a headache.
Despite his parents' attempts to comfort him, Chibi Lei Jishi continues to cry out for his mommy and daddy.
Overwhelmed by the constant sobbing, young Song-yu suggests to his mother that they should simply send the boy home. The rain patters against the window as the black-haired boy sits alone, reflecting on the heavy atmosphere since the newcomer's arrival. Song-yu's father gently explains that the little boy has no parents or home to go back to anymore. Gripping the toy train, the boy listens as his father confirms that their house will now be Leiji's permanent home. A soft creak sounds as Song-yu notices the crying toddler peeking through the doorway of his bedroom. Softening his tone, the older boy asks why he is hiding and eventually invites the shivering child inside. Sitting together on the floor, young Song-yu asks why he isn't sleeping, finally beginning to accept his new little brother. Lightning flashes outside as the black-haired boy asks his crying younger brother why he is in his room. Remembering his brother's fear of thunder, Song-yu allows the shivering child to cling to his pajamas. Desperate for safety, little Lei Jishi clutches his brother's shirt as the storm rages outside the window. Thoughts of sheltering a stray dog surface as young Song-yu recalls trying to protect a pup with an umbrella. The analogy shifts to the heartbreaking image of a shivering, hungry stray left alone in a dark tunnel. Seeking to comfort him, the older boy sits on the floor and pulls the crying toddler into a protective embrace. Narrative text explains how the terror of a storm lingers, often reappearing even after a moment of calm. Trying to find a way to divert his brother's attention, young Song-yu realizes his favorite toy train no longer works. Spotting an unopened box of imported Madeleine cakes, the older boy decides to sacrifice his special treat to provide comfort. With a gentle offer, Song-yu holds out the tray of shell-shaped cakes, asking if he wants to eat. The sight of the sweet treats successfully stops the tears, leaving the older boy relieved by the sudden silence. A cute chibi scene shows the pair happily sharing the cakes, the younger boy munching with a satisfied expression. Little Lei Jishi munches on cake while Song-yu covers his ears. His love for food finally overcomes his fear. Staring at the empty box, Song-yu marvels at how such a small child could consume so much food. After the meal, the older boy instructs his brother to sleep as the rain continues pattering against the glass. A peaceful close-up of the floral fabric suggests a quiet transition into a night of rest for the brothers. Watching his brother sleep, Song-yu admits to himself that having a clingy younger brother isn't so bad. A vibrant kite flies high as Song-yu reflects on the growing affection he feels for his new sibling. The brothers spend more time together, with the elder even bringing the little one to his advanced math classes. Sitting in the classroom, the toddler stares blankly at the complex textbook, completely lost in the difficult material. Song-yu looks on with a soft expression, finally feeling the true pride of being a real older brother. A sudden coughing fit interrupts the peaceful night, teaching Song-yu that being a big brother involves complex challenges. Waking up in a panic, the black-haired boy watches in horror as his brother struggles to breathe in bed. Fear grips the older boy's heart as he screams his brother's name into the dark, desperate for help. At the hospital, the little boy receives oxygen as the doctors diagnose him with food allergy-induced asthma.
The doctor explains the severity of the wheat allergy, warning that even small amounts can cause dangerous reactions.
Aunt Rong and her husband are shocked by the news, while the doctor scolds them for their lack of awareness.
Narration reveals the tragic irony that the parents had no knowledge of Lei Zhixi's hidden medical condition. Standing in the hallway, a guilt-ridden Song Yu listens as his parents insist the boy only ate safe foods lately. The weight of the secret crushes the young boy, his eyes filled with sorrow as he realizes what happened. In a moment of painful clarity, Song Yu confesses to himself that he was the one who fed him. The parents look toward the emergency room with expressions of pure shock and disbelief at the sudden medical crisis. The doctor tries to soften the blow with an analogy about overfeeding a goldfish, unaware of Song Yu's internal struggle. For the first time, the block-haired boy understands the devastating reality that love can sometimes cause unintended harm.
A close-up shows the cake crumbling in a hand, symbolizing the unintentional destruction caused by the older boy's care.
Song Yu laments that while he thought he was protecting a stray dog, he was actually reckless with his actions.
Later, his mother delivers the news that Lei Zhixi is finally out of danger, though the trauma remains deep. Aunt Rong comforts her son, telling him not to blame himself, unaware of the cake incident's true cause. Despite the lack of external blame, the bond between the two brothers changes permanently from that day forward. Song Yu firmly tells his brother to sleep alone, choosing to close the door and establish a painful emotional distance. The shadow of guilt lingers between them as Song Yu maintains a distance to prevent another accidental disaster. Looking back, Song Yu reflects on the delicate threads that connect him to the most essential people in life. A close-up of Song Yu's high school name tag signals a return to the present-day narrative. Lei Zhixi appears like a sudden burst of sunshine, his happy energy contrasting with the dark memories of the past. Present-day Song Yu contemplates the special, invisible thread he holds, representing his deep connection to his brother. Metaphorical red strings entwine their hands, highlighting the fragile yet unbreakable bond they have shared since childhood. Lei Zhixi asks if his brother remembers their very first medical crisis, unaware of the depth of the trauma. Song Yu explains how the well-intentioned cake caused the asthma attack, finally revealing the origin of the allergy. Looking away, the senior admits his lingering unhappiness about almost causing the death of the person he loves most. In a chibi thought, Lei Zhixi realizes why he stopped getting treats and vows to be less childish. Returning to school in the afternoon, Lei Zhixi is met with cheers from classmates, happy to see him recovered. Curious girls surround him, asking if he is really Song Yu's brother, despite the two not looking alike. Lei explains he lives with Song Yu's family, privately vowing to avoid the burden of everyone's unwanted pity. Chibi classmates excitedly wonder about Song Yu's handsome appearance at home and why Lei never mentioned him before. A classmate steps in to help, asking the crowd to give Lei space to rest after his recovery. The atmosphere shifts as Lei is informed that a senior from the high school department is looking for him. Met by several girls, Lei is questioned again about his brotherly connection to the famous senior Song Yu. The girls beg for Song Yu's private contact number, but Lei remains firm that it is confidential information. Left alone and overwhelmed, the boy sighs, realizing he has become a target for his brother's many admirers. Later that evening, a tired Lei Zhixi returns home, greeted by Aunt Rong, who notices his exhausted state. Admitting he is overwhelmed by the enthusiastic seniors, Lei gratefully accepts a bowl of warm rice cake soup. Aunt Rong mentions his uncle is abroad on business as Lei pets the fluffy white Pomeranian, Marshmallow, nearby. The boy happily finishes the meal, the comforting atmosphere of the home helping him recover from school day stress. A cute chibi scene shows Lei eating with gusto as Aunt Rong tells him to be careful. Lei reflects on his routine, explaining how he waits for his brother whose classes dismiss much later.
Narrated text describes the aerial corridor connecting the two school buildings, serving as the only link between them.
Despite waiting patiently outside Class 5, Lele finds no sign of Song-yu and eventually leaves for home. Under the light of a crescent moon, the boy cycles home alone, a frequent occurrence in his routine. At home, Le Jishi looks pensive until a sudden door click interrupts the silence of the room. Song-yu finally returns home, met by Aunt Rong's greeting while Lele watches him from the table.
Sitting together for dinner, Lele prepares to share the news about his day with his older brother.
The boy laments being used as a tool person by seniors who only want Song-yu's contact info.
Chibi Lele clutches his head in frustration, feeling bombarded by the relentless questioning from his brother's fans. Aunt Rong teases Lele about his vocabulary, recalling a dark history where he misunderstood the term sister-in-law.
A flashback reveals a younger Lele confused by the complicated titles and relationships among his relatives in China. Aunt Rong explains that marriage means a brother leaves home, a concept that leaves the toddler utterly horrified.
The child's eyes fill with sadness as he realizes that a sister-in-law would eventually separate him from Song-yu.
Desperate to stay together, young Lele declares he will be the sister-in-law himself, shocking his family.
Firmly committed to his plan, the toddler stubbornly insists on his solution to avoid being separated.
The family erupts in laughter as Aunt Rong explains he isn't a girl, leaving the little boy confused. Present-day Lele is embarrassed by the memory, while Aunt Rong laughs, teasing him about his innocent childhood thoughts.
Song-yu watches his brother with a pensive expression, silently observing the playful dynamic during the late meal.
A sharp "ah" rings through the air, causing Song-yu to turn his head sharply toward the noise.
Song-yu heads toward the source of the sound, his expression alert as he investigates the sudden commotion.
He and Aunt Rong rush forward, wondering what could have happened to cause such a loud cry.
They discover that Marshmallow has knocked over dragon fruit, staining his white fur a bright, messy red.
Le Jishi holds up the messy dog, jokingly asking if he was trying to dye his fur.
The boy lectures the pet about stealing food while Song-yu watches the interaction with a calm expression. Song-yu tells his brother to watch the road as Lele wonders how his brother moved so quickly.
Deciding to bathe the dog, Lele says goodnight to his brother, who encourages him to rest early.
Song-yu stands alone, reflecting on the logical necessity of teaching the dog better behavior in the future.
A chibi scene shows Lele scrubbing the dog in a tub, both covered in soap bubbles and water.
After finishing his task, the exhausted boy falls onto his bed, feeling incredibly sleepy from the long day. Just as he drifts off, a phone notification buzzes on his desk, disrupting his moment of rest.
Forcing himself to wake up, Lele sits up in bed to reply to the persistent messages on his phone.
He sends a final rejection, refusing to reveal Song-yu's private information despite the continuous, annoying requests.
In the classroom, whispers about their family disharmony and lack of interaction reach the brown-haired boy's ears.
Lele feels like a rat falling from one pit into another, struggling with constant troubles and school rumors.
The boy sits at his desk, frustrated after missing yet another arc-length calculation in his difficult math studies. Dragged to his first physical education class, Lele discovers his pen is broken, lamenting his streak of misfortune.
During PE, overwhelmed by embarrassment, a sudden thud echoes as the flustered boy accidentally bumps into someone while rushing away.
Looking down, the brown-haired boy mumbles a quick apology for the collision while covering his face in shame.
Lele is stunned to see Song-yu and his friend, Chin Yan, who jokes about the boy's lack of awareness.
Chin Yan teases the little magnet for bumping into his brother, while Song-yu remains stoic despite the light-hearted atmosphere.
Attempting a quick escape, Lele says goodbye, unaware that Song-yu is watching him with a lingering, intense gaze.
Song-yu firmly grabs the younger boy's arm, stopping him mid-flight as Lele looks back with a startled expression. Leading him away,
The black-haired senior ignores the onlookers while Lele continues to hide his face in deep embarrassment.
The pair walks together as Song Yu remains contemplative, the younger boy still struggling with his internal awkwardness. A moment of quiet reflection passes as Song Yu's profile is framed by delicate white flowers and soft light. A sudden release causes Lele to fall with a thud on the ground, leaving him utterly shocked and confused. Sitting on the pavement, the brown-haired boy touches his face, wondering why he was suddenly let go. Song Yu kneels before him, gently lifting the younger boy's chin to inspect his face with unwavering focus.
Despite Lele's attempt to hide, Song Yu remains close, questioning what he is so desperately trying to conceal.
Offering a hand, Song Yu asks if he plans to return to class while in such a disheveled state. Chibi Lele complains about his sore back after the fall, persuading the nonchalant senior to slow down his pace.
They arrive at the infirmary, where Song Yu tells him to wait while he searches for the on-duty doctor.
Finding supplies, the senior tells Lele to open his mouth, preparing to clean whatever is on his face.
As Song Yu cleans his face, Lele is reminded of the dragon fruit incident, feeling like a pampered pet. The black-haired senior remarks on the boy's constant trouble, his expression softening as he continues the delicate task.
Feeling mocked and dejected, the brown-haired boy offers a quiet apology, misunderstanding the older boy's nurturing intentions.
Song Yu tells him to stay still, creating a peaceful moment of intimacy as he cares for the younger boy.
A flashback shows Lele winning a speech competition. While others cheer, Song Yu watches silently from the shadows.
In another memory, Song Yu remains distant after Lele falls during basketball, refusing to publicly acknowledge their connection.
The two maintained a strict stranger status at school, passing each other in the hallways without a single word.
Returning to the present, Song Yu continues his care, the distance between them finally starting to bridge. When Song Yu asks if the medicine is delicious, Lele reacts with suspicion, fearing his brother is making fun. Admitting he accidentally tasted the sweet medicine, the brown-haired boy describes the strange honeydew flavor to the senior.
Chibi Lele explains the initial sweetness turns into a nauseating cough syrup taste, surrounded by adorable melon icons.
The boys share a lighthearted moment as Song Yu jokes about Lele needing the dentist for eating pens like candy. Confused by the misplaced emphasis, the brown-haired boy wonders if he ever actually visited the dentist as a child. Song Yu reminds him of the trauma of crying at the dentist, insisting it should be a lifelong memory.
The younger boy challenges him, asking if Song Yu truly remembers everything from their shared childhood together.
With a bright, cheerful smile, Lele declares that his memories are identical to his brother's, warming the atmosphere.
Song Yu holds the younger boy's wrist in a silent, meaningful gesture, his expression unreadable but attentive.
The brothers continue to bond in the quiet infirmary, the earlier tension replaced by a soft, genuine laughter.
Sitting together, Song Yu feels a sense of peace, realizing that no words are needed in this comfortable silence.
Lele looks out the window, his expression shifting to one of quiet contemplation as he rests in the room. Song Yu notices the boy's bare wrist and asks why he isn't wearing the watch he gave him.
A flashback reveals a 10-year-old Lele excitedly presenting a gift box to his brother with a wide smile.
Chibi Lele explains how he earned money as a photographer's assistant to buy the special birthday gift himself.
The child's joy is crushed when the 13-year-old Song Yu bluntly refuses to accept the birthday present.
Heartbroken and confused, the young boy asks why he is being rejected, his eyes wide with innocent hurt.
Lele insists the watch is nice, desperately hoping his brother will change his mind and accept the gift.
The boy explains the clerk promised Song Yu would like it, his persistence revealing his deep desire to please him.
A young Song Yu stares at the gift in silence, his expression blank as he processes the child's sincere gesture. The scene transitions with a view of lush green trees against a bright, clear blue sky. In a harsh twist, the teenager places the gift box on a store counter to process a return. Song-yu coldly returns the unused watch as a devastated Lele stands behind him, his heart visibly shattered. Lele cries at the store, pleading with Song-yu not to return the birthday gift he carefully chose. Song-yu asks why he's crying. Lele reveals his deep hurt over his brother rejecting his sincere gesture. Crying harder, Lele laments he couldn't even say happy birthday before Song-yu dismissed the thoughtful present. Song-yu pauses as the boy continues to weep, clearly affected by the weight of his younger brother's sorrow. Explaining his logic, Song-yu claims the gift is too expensive and such spending is simply not rational. Despite his practical refusal, the black-haired senior quietly admits he doesn't actually dislike the gift. Panels contrast Song-yu's cold practicality with Lele's deep sadness, highlighting the growing emotional rift between them. Lele insists he understands everything while crying, showing he isn't as ignorant as the family believes. A flashback shows the shopkeeper telling Song-yu how Lele visited 3 times to carefully select the perfect watch. The shopkeeper recounts Leel's caution, taking 3 days and counting his hard-earned money carefully to make the purchase. Song-yu gazes at the weeping boy, his stoic resolve finally crumbling as he realizes the depth of Lele's effort. Alone at night, Song-yu stares at the gift box, deeply conflicted about his decision to return the watch. Reflecting on his choice, Song-yu decides to return the item separately tomorrow, though he feels increasingly unsettled. A flashback shows Song-yu pausing on the stairs, overhearing Aunt Rong asking Lele why he bought the gift. Song-yu listens as Lele explains his longing for the days when they lived closer and shared every day. Lele shares his sadness about them attending different schools, expressing how much he truly misses his older brother. With a bright, hopeful smile, Lele says he wanted the watch to accompany his brother in his absence. The child happily imagines Song-yu thinking of him every time he looks at the watch to check the time. Song-yu stands speechless on the stairs, fully grasping the purity and intensity of his younger brother's affection. Lele's tearful face returns in a flashback as he insists his intentions were thoughtful and well-considered. Song-yu realizes that behind the boy's crying fits lay a profound desire for connection and recognition. A close-up shows the watch on Song-yu's wrist, proving he kept the gift despite his initial rejection. Memories of childhood dentist visits and medical care flicker through Song-yu's mind, proving he remembers every moment. Song-yu wonders which of them truly relies more on the other's company as the years pass by. A sharp hiss breaks the silence as Song-yu tends to Lele's face, pulling the senior's focus back. Lele asks why Song-yu isn't wearing the watch, but the senior remains focused on the medicine. Song-yu remarks on the boy's persistent questions. Lele replies that one simple answer would have stopped them. Song-yu feels like an ogre from a horror movie, realizing his silent intensity might be overwhelming the boy. A chibi scene shows a tiny Lele served on a plate, illustrating Song-yu's internal sense of self-reproach. Lele looks up with a flustered expression, describing his brother as a calm but terrifyingly intense presence. Close-ups of Lele's eyes emphasize his vulnerability as he waits for Song-yu to finish the treatment. Song-yu tells him to keep his eyes closed while the wet cotton swab itches his sensitive skin. Lele notices the lemon detergent scent on Song-yu's collar, finding a familiar and instinctive comfort in it. Tasting the medicine, Lele grimaces and complains about the bitterness as he keeps his mouth open. A sudden pause causes Lele to open one eye, questioning why his brother has stopped the cleaning process. Song-yu remains silent for a beat, his expression unreadable as the intimate tension in the room grows. Song-yu tells Lele to finish cleaning himself, while a chibi scene shows the senior's inner frustration. Lele looks in the mirror, amazed that the stubborn ink marks are finally disappearing with the alcohol. Standing by the window,
Lele asks if alcohol can also remove the ink stains from his school uniform.
Song-yu mumbles a response, his gaze lingering on his younger brother with a mixture of complicated emotions.
Lele promises to tidy the room, his cheerful energy returning as he prepares to leave the infirmary.
Chibi Lele scurries around frantically, cleaning up the mess at high speed while sweating from the effort.
Lele watches through the window as Song-yu walks away, a pensive look crossing the younger boy's face. The brown-haired boy remains at the window, silently observing his brother's retreating figure with lingering contemplation.
Sunlight filters through the school grounds as Lele stands alone, the quiet atmosphere reflecting his internal mood.
Lele sips a sweet drink, reflecting on the bitterness of the alcohol and his preference for sweetness. A classmate rushes up to Lele, breathlessly asking if he is okay after hearing rumors of trouble. The boy explains the class heard Song-yu dragged Leela away to beat him up in secret. Shocked by the rumors, the classmate checks Lele's face for signs of the reported injury. Lele clarifies that Song-yu didn't hit him, while a chibi scene shows the dramatic misconception of others. Lele sips a drink, reflecting on how his classmates' vivid imaginations led to the rumors about his brother. Denying that Song-yu would ever hit him, the brown-haired boy quickly changes the subject to playing basketball. On the court, a classmate invites Lele to join. A chibi version of the boy worries about his skill.
Teammates welcome Lele while a reddish-brown-haired senior sneezes nearby, watching the students gather on the school grounds. As the senior comments on Lele's popularity, Song-yu expertly shoots a basketball through the hoop behind him.
A close-up of sneakers on the red court transitions to Song-yu looking down with a pensive expression.
Standing in his red jersey, the black-haired boy remains quiet as he prepares for the next play.
Kin Yan drapes an arm around Song-yu, asking who provoked him, before requesting to see his watch. Song-yu hands over the watch. His friend notes its quality and realizes it's a deeply precious gift.
The black-haired senior calls the gift giver his baby, prompting laughter from his friend as they walk together. Back in class, Lele doodles while classmates gossip about the supposed dental injury caused by Song-yu. Lele firmly defends his brother, insisting the rumors are false and that Song-yu is actually very kind. A close-up of the brown-haired boy highlights his unwavering determination to protect his brother's reputation from gossip. Lele declares he will never allow anyone to speak ill of Song-yu while he is present.
Classmates question their relationship. Lele remains silent, unable to explain the depth of their bond to outsiders.
Doodling a tiny character, Lele decides that engaging in meaningless arguments only makes him look foolish. A student interrupts Lele's thoughts, informing him that someone is waiting to see him outside the classroom.
Lele looks toward the doorway, his heart fluttering as he wonders if his brother has come to visit.
A close-up of the boy's face shows a bright, hopeful smile as he anticipates the visitor's identity.
Seeing Chin Yan instead of his brother, Layla's expression shifts to a polite but slightly surprised look.
Kin Yan smiles broadly, teasing the younger boy for appearing disappointed by his presence at the door.
A chibi scene shows a persistent Lele focused on his senior, surrounded by a playful floral background. Chin Yan laughs heartily at the boy's suggestion, finding their sibling dynamic more humorous than he expected. Moving away from the crowded hallway, the senior prepares to discuss a more serious and important matter. Chin Yan, the radio station president, invites Lele to become an English broadcaster, citing his excellent recitation skills.
Lele suggests Song-yu instead, but Chin Yan admits he cannot easily persuade the intimidating older brother.
Chibi panels illustrate Chin Yan's long history of visiting Lele's home, cementing their close and familial friendship.
A close-up of Lele's tie and name tag signals a transition into his new role at the school.
At home, Lele's parents are shocked to learn he will be working at the radio station every Friday.
His mother offers to bring him meals, recalling how she pampered him during his elementary school years.
Chibi Lele remembers his classmates' envy over his luxurious lunches, while the present Lele reacts with embarrassment.
Lele declines the offer to avoid being a burden, reaching out to pet a cat as he speaks.
His mother dramatically laments his independence, feeling her maternal affection has nowhere left to go. Song Yu enters and supports Lele's decision, while his mother jokes about their shared biological traits.
Drying his hair, the black-haired senior lets out a brief, amused sound at the family's playful bickering.
A chibi Song Yu heads upstairs, silently dismissing the dramatic scene in the living room as theatrical nonsense.
The scene shifts to Friday at the radio station, where white blossoms frame the bright afternoon sky.
Lele arrives at the station promptly after his classes, greeting a senior girl who is waiting inside.
The senior hands Lele a script, explaining that he only needs to prepare the opening remarks and introductions. Putting on a pair of headphones, the brown-haired boy looks nervous but focused on his first broadcast. The senior offers encouragement, detailing how he will introduce and play the music for the listeners. Outside, students head toward the cafeteria while the radio program begins to broadcast across the campus.
Walking with Chin Yan, Song Yu listens as his friend asks about a lengthy conversation with a teacher.
A flashback shows teacher Wang Qian requesting Song Yu's assistance with school matters outside of class.
Chin Yan questions the teacher's continued reliance on Song Yu as they walk along the elevated corridor. Grumbling about his hunger, the reddish-brown-haired senior hopes for his favorite meatballs at dinner tonight. Song Yu freezes in place as a familiar voice introduces itself as Joy over the school speakers. Inside the station, Lele speaks warmly into the microphone, his voice carrying through the entire school grounds. Song Yu's expression shifts to one of quiet recognition as he realizes his brother is the new broadcaster. Confidently, the boy recommends a song to his audience, his debut successfully bridging the distance to his brother. Song Yu looks startled as his red-haired friend asks if the server suddenly disconnected.
Song Yu confirms the issue, while his friend suggests they recruit Lele before he manages to graduate. Walking down the hall, the red-haired friend notes Song Yu's visible nervousness regarding his younger brother.
Outside the school, the friend mentions rumors of bullying and urges Song Yu to demonstrate their brotherhood publicly.
A nostalgic scene shows a younger Lele wearing headphones, singing passionately into a microphone during a school broadcast.
The lyrics, "My youth is yours," appear as the brown-haired boy performs with his eyes closed. A heartwarming memory depicts Song Yu watching Lele laugh, capturing a rare moment of shared joy between them. Song Yu's expression remains soft and contemplative as he stands amidst the falling leaves of the schoolyard. Back in the broadcast room, the long-haired senior suggests Lele take a break between his songs.
The girl offers her homemade bento, apologizing to Lele for an earlier mistake she made during the session.
In a chibi moment, a loud rumble sounds from Lele's stomach, prompting the girl to offer him dinner.
Lele admires the colorful bento, but realizes he cannot eat any of it due to his severe allergies.
Smiling politely, the brown-haired boy declines the meal, explaining his deskmate is already bringing him food.
Lele looks slightly unsettled, perhaps worrying about the social awkwardness of refusing such a kind gesture.
The boy reflects on how Song Yu strictly warned him never to disclose his life-threatening allergies to others.
A flashback shows Song Yu emphasizing the danger, pointing out that an allergic reaction could be fatal for Lele.
Returning to the present, the girl mentions seeing Song Yu's protective behavior during the school's opening ceremony. Inside the classroom, the student body is informed that only 10 minutes remain before evening self-study begins. Friends greet Lele warmly, praising his singing voice while he basks in the glow of their appreciation.
Lele rests his head on his desk until a classmate named Zhang Chen makes a biting, sarcastic remark. Zhang Chen continues to mock Lele, suggesting he purposely left the microphone on to show off his singing.
A friend whispers that Zhang Chen is jealous because his crush has feelings for the popular Lele. Lele looks up in confusion, asking if the girl in question is the one from class 11. His friend explains how the class goddess confessed to Lele, leaving the bitter Zhang Chen feeling deeply slighted. Zhang Chen turns around with a scowl, clearly irritated by the conversation happening behind him. The focus shifts to Leilei's uniform badge as the tension in the classroom continues to simmer. The girl jokes about the sour lemon scent of Zhang Chen's jealousy until a sharp slap sounds. The class monitor stands and commands everyone to be quiet and prepare for the start of self-study.
Zhang Chen sits down with a huff while Leilei considers clearing up the romantic misunderstanding later.
Leilei's friend presents a box of self-heating rice, explaining he couldn't find the requested rice balls.
The boys discuss the risk of eating in class, but the friend insists Teacher Wang has already left.
Chibi Leilei is thoroughly impressed by his friend's thorough investigation into the teacher's whereabouts.
The two students examine the blue container, eager to try the self-heating meal for the first time. They hatch a plan to sneak away to the restroom to eat without being caught.
As a bell rings, the monitor confirms the teacher's absence, and the students cheer for their freedom.
The black-haired friend eagerly offers Leilei a taste of the food once they are alone.
Leilei agrees to the plan, but suddenly freezes, his eyes wide with shock at a new arrival. Leilei and his friend gape in utter shock as a familiar figure enters the classroom doorway.
Song Yu stands at the door, his presence immediately silencing the rowdy classroom as he looks inside.
The senior grips the edges of the teacher's podium, looking out over the surprised student body. Song Yu announces that Teacher Wang invited him to share his experience preparing for entrance exams. Students are amazed that the school legend is actually substituting for their evening self-study session. Leilei is stunned, remembering how they shared a homeroom teacher and thinking about their families.
Song Yu explains the schedule for the session, inviting anyone who needs help to the podium.
The black-haired friend coughs nervously, hiding behind a book as Song Yu takes charge.
A cell phone displays a group chat where students are raving about Song Yu's attractive appearance. The chat continues with students wondering if Song Yu will get Leilei into trouble for eating.
Leilei looks up with a start as he feels his brother's intense and watchful gaze upon him.
A close-up shows Song Yu's loose tie and serious expression as he oversees the quiet class.
Leilei stares down at his math textbook, trying his best to look busy under his brother's gaze. Standing before the class, black-haired Song Yu outlines the study plan for the high school entrance exam. A strange bubbling sound interrupts the lesson, drawing the class's attention toward Leilei and his steaming lunchbox. Focused close-ups show a steady hand continuing to write chemical characters on the green chalkboard. Ignoring the distraction, the black-haired senior writes clear goals on the board to keep the students focused.
Leilei and his dark-haired classmate exchange panicked whispers, wondering why the hidden meal is making so much noise.
Embarrassed, Leilei worries about being kicked out as the entire class begins to smell his fish-flavored pork. 10 minutes later, Song Yu transitions to the next part of his lecture while sunlight filters into the classroom. Explaining the barrel effect, the senior stands tall at the front, while students listen with rapt attention. Classmates gossip about Leilei's bad luck, recalling his previous injuries, while Song Yu discusses systematic organization. The senior emphasizes that repeating mistakes leads to failure, standing right behind the stressed, brown-haired Leilei. Leilei feels tortured by his brother's intense presence as Song Yu continues lecturing while standing directly beside him. Overwhelmed by proximity, the younger boy can hear nothing but his own racing heartbeat as he stares at his book. Song Yu assigns practice questions while a chibi Leilei tries to vanish behind his textbook in shame.
A sudden thud sounds as Song Yu places his hand on Leilei's desk, causing the boy to jump. Leilei looks down in despair at the self-heating rice box he tried so hard to hide from everyone.
A close-up of Song Yu reveals a calm, knowing expression as he looks down at his younger brother. Classmates laugh and comment on the delicious aroma filling the room, identifying the specific dish Leilei is hiding. Looking flustered, Leilei admits the food smells good, while Song Yu calmly tells him that it is okay. Jiang Yu Fan tries to take the blame for the meal, but Leilei honestly confesses his own hunger. A light brown-haired student, Zhang Chen, raises his hand to snitch, claiming the boys planned this distraction. Jiang Yufan defends Lele by calling out the snitch's own hypocrisy, turning the classroom into a dramatic scene.
Nervous energy radiates from Lele as he looks down, waiting for the senior's judgment on his classroom snack. Seizing the moment, Song Yu decides to use the meal to teach everyone the chemistry behind instant rice.
The senior explains the chemical heating pack, while a chibi panel shows the class imagining a sudden science lesson.
Warning about explosion risks. Song Yu continues the lecture while Lele listens, his embarrassment shifting into genuine curiosity.
Song Yu points to the equations he already wrote, proving he knew about the meal long before it started bubbling.
The class erupts in laughter as the senior concludes his lesson on exothermic reactions with an unforgettable example.
Zhang Chen tries to redirect the focus to the broken rules, but the senior's educational diversion has already succeeded.
Song Yu asks the class to identify other chemistry experiments that produce sounds, further engaging the interested students. Students enthusiastically discuss chemical reactions involving sodium and water as the atmosphere in the room lightens.
Looking unbothered, Song Yu dismisses the surprise, while the snitching classmate remains visibly annoyed by the outcome. The senior explains the condensation of water vapor, noting that Lele wouldn't have chosen this meal if he understood chemistry. Lele reflects on being addressed formally as classmate, finding a strange sense of happiness in his brother's professional tone.
Staring at his senior, Lele realizes that despite the cold exterior, his brother's expression is not one of accusation.
The younger boy realizes the entire chemistry lecture was actually a clever excuse designed to protect his reputation.
A gentle, affectionate hand pats Lela's head, making the boy's eyes widen in shock at the sudden contact.
Song Yu tells Lele to report to the office, eat quickly, and return to class at top speed. With a small nod, the senior dismisses him, while a chibi Lele looks on with a mix of confusion and relief. Transitioning smoothly, Song Yu begins discussing the English revision plan, as Lele remains focused on his textbook.
From the back of the room, students admire how quickly and impressively the senior outlined the entire plan.
The students whisper that their senior is more capable than many teachers as they watch him work. Checking the time on his watch, Song Yu prepares to end the session as the clock strikes the hour. The senior calls out Leal's name, catching the brown-haired boy off guard as he looks up.
Song Yu orders Lele to wipe the blackboard, a punishment the boy finds comforting compared to being ignored.
Lele happily agrees to help, even as other students complain that they haven't finished copying the notes.
Looking over his shoulder, Song Yu suggests the students use their phones to take pictures of the board instead.
Chibi student Jiang Yufan gossips about the snitch, while Lele reflects on how someone's jealousy can make them act foolishly.
Two panels show Leal's hand pausing as he prepares to erase the chalk marks from the green surface.
Jiang Yufan asks if Lele has his phone, but the boy notes the notes are already disappearing.
Lele holds his phone with a polite smile, requesting his senior to send him a specific photo.
At the sinks, the brown-haired boy washes his hands as a heavy downpour begins to rattle the windows.
Spotting Song Yu in the hallway, Lele asks if a small gift is intended for him, looking hopeful.
Song Yu explains the snack is from Qin Yan, while Lele mentions his new radio station role as they walk.
The black-haired senior remains silent, while a chibi Lele chirps about Qin Yan's involvement in his new position. Lele tentatively asks to walk home together, but Song Yu coldly tells the younger boy to go home alone. Holding the yogurt cup, Lele watches his brother leave with a look of quiet, lingering disappointment in his eyes.
During the second evening self-study session, Song Yu supervises the quiet classroom as students focus on their books.
Jiang Yufan gossips about the classroom atmosphere, while Lele decides not to compete for his brother's immediate attention. Song Yu questions a classmate about his thick glasses, learning the student has a high prescription of 600 degrees. Monitoring the room, the senior sternly reminds a student to maintain proper posture while a chibi Lele sits upright.
As the clock strikes the hour, Song Yu formally dismisses the class, prompting the students to pack their belongings. Lele watches from his desk, feeling a pang of sadness as Song Yu leaves the room without saying a word.
Resting his chin on his hand, the brown-haired boy accepts that they aren't going home together as he intended.
A classmate asks Lele why he isn't leaving, but he insists on staying to finish his chemistry homework instead. Peering out at the campus, the boy watches his classmates share umbrellas while he waits for the rain to stop. A sign for the Senior 3-5 classroom hangs in the hallway as the storm continues to lash outside. Zhang Chen asks Song Yu for help with a difficult question, lamenting the massive amount of homework they have. Song Yu prepares to leave early due to the rain, leaving the reddish-brown-haired student puzzled by the sudden departure. Sitting alone on the stairs outside, Lele enjoys the sweet yogurt, trying to make the best of his situation.
Chibi Lele enthusiastically licks the yogurt lid, finding the sour taste delicious while waiting for the rain to cease.
A sudden presence startles Lele as Song Yu appears behind him, asking what the boy is doing there alone.
Lele admits he is waiting for the rain to stop, but Song Yu confidently predicts the storm will end soon.
Song Yu mentions his pen is in the classroom, but decides they should just head home despite the heavy rain. Staring at his brother, Lele is caught off guard by the senior's sudden decision to accompany him home tonight. Walking toward the street, Song Yu suggests they take a taxi since the rain makes riding bikes far too dangerous. While waiting for a ride, Lele mentions he is still hungry despite the yogurt Qin Yan bought for him. The younger boy continues to praise the yogurt's flavor, unaware of the subtle shift in his brother's quiet expression. Song Yu suggests they eat something before heading back, much to the surprise and delight of the brown-haired boy. Under the stall's blue awning, the brothers order warm street food to ward off the chill of the rain.
Lele happily bites into a skewer of his favorite dried radish, his previous sadness completely forgotten in the moment.
Enjoying the savory snack, the boy's face lights up with pure satisfaction as he shares the meal with Song Yu. Chibi panels show Lele struggling with the heat of the food, looking both adorable and comically overwhelmed by his hunger. Looking embarrassed, Lele realizes he accidentally ate almost everything in the red cup before he could offer more. He offers the very last skewer to his brother, but Song Yu gently declines, stating that he is already full. A faint, affectionate gaze crosses Song Yu's face as he watches the younger boy enjoy the simple street food. Standing together at the brightly lit stall, the two brothers find a moment of peace amidst the dark, rainy night. Inside the taxi, Lele reflects on his improved luck as they head home, feeling warm after the shared meal. As the radio plays, the boy mentions it is his first day hosting, only for Song Yu to reveal he knows. Shocked, Lele asks how he could possibly know, and Song Yu simply replies that he heard the entire broadcast. Song Yu looks at his brother with an unreadable expression, his quiet admission bridging the emotional distance between them. Chibi Lele excitedly asks if his voice was recognizable, while Song Yu firmly tells him to sit back and relax. Hearing a familiar melody on the taxi's radio, Song Yu asks about the title of the fitting song currently playing. A flashback shows them back at the food stall, a beautiful memory of hiding from the rain together under eaves. Despite the shared moment, the black-haired senior claims he doesn't know the song, maintaining his characteristic stoic and cool demeanor. Poetic lyrics about memories and dreams appear over a shot of the city's apartment buildings drenched in the nighttime rain. The taxi speeds through the wet streets, carrying the brothers home as the radio continues to play sentimental music. A week later, the weather clears into a bright blue sky, but a small Chibi Lele lets out a sneeze. Zhang Yufan teases Lele about his weak constitution, while the brown-haired boy shivers from the sudden drop in temperature. Discussing the radio show's upcoming plans, the friends also mention a classmate's birthday party scheduled at a local KTV. Lele reflects on the awkwardness of being teased by classmates about a girl who clearly enjoys the attention.
A loud achoo interrupts the brown-haired boy's thoughts as he walks alone, feeling the onset of a cold.
Wiping his nose, Lele is startled as Zheng Yameng approaches him with a bright smile in the schoolyard.
The dark-haired girl enthusiastically invites him to a class outing, while a chibi Lele hesitates to agree.
Lele decides to use his sickness as a future excuse to stay home while school announcements begin overhead.
Spotting his senior from behind, Lele admires how handsome his brother looks in the casual autumn sports uniform. As recess concludes, Qin Yan catches up to the black-haired senior, patting his shoulder with a friendly gesture.
Chibi Qin Yan teases his friend about family Lele being nearby, making the brown-haired boy wave bashfully.
Lele approaches the pair, mentioning a change in his broadcast partner that he hadn't reported to his senior. Looking up at the tall, black-haired boy, Lele waits for a reaction with a slight look of apprehension. Song Yu stares back with a cold, unreadable expression that leaves the younger boy feeling uncertain and small.
Another achoo echoes as Lele offers rainbow candy to Qin Yan, who accepts the sweet treat with excitement. The reddish-brown-haired boy begins to open the colorful packet, eager to try the snacks Lele provided.
Unexpectedly, Song Yu snatches the candy and tosses it back to Lele, leaving the younger boy utterly confused.
Declaring it's time for class, Song Yu walks away, while Qin Yan complains about his senior's noisy attitude.
Lele watches his brother's back, his hand lingering near his mouth as he reflects on the brief encounter. Suddenly, a dark object flies through the air, catching the light as it is tossed toward the boy.
Song Yu tells Lele to put the jacket on, and the boy peers out from beneath the heavy fabric.
Classmates admire the senior's kindness, while a chibi Lele basks in the warmth of his brother's borrowed clothes.
Lele smiles to himself, noticing the familiar scent on the jacket despite them using the same laundry detergent. In the locker room, Zhang Yameng hears Lele's cough cough and offers him a ride home to avoid the wind.
Lele politely declines the offer, insisting that his home is very close and his bike ride will be short.
Despite another cough, he refuses a ride again, citing concerns about leaving his bike at school over a rainy weekend.
At home, Lele's uncle notices his raspy voice and comments on how protective the black-haired brother truly is.
The uncle points towards sweet soup and spicy pork jerky, prompting a chibi Lele to cheer for the snacks.
Enjoying the warm soup, Lele listens as his uncle suggests a family fishing trip to Liangzi Lake. Taking a sip of soup, the brown-haired boy asks if his older brother will be joining them for the weekend. His mother explains that Song Yu is busy preparing for a prestigious citywide student election speech the next day.
While discussing the strict election process, a chibi Lele confidently declares that his brother will succeed without any trouble.
The father warns against adding pressure, while Lele decides to join the fishing trip since his brother is busy.
The mother asks about Lele's own plans for tomorrow, but the boy admits he hasn't made a final decision.
A montage of chibi panels shows the family at dinner, eagerly anticipating the events of the following morning.
Song Yu stoically corrects the conversation, clarifying that Lele's class invitation is a group birthday party, not a date.
Pouring a glass of water, the senior asks if the classmate throwing the party is a boy or a girl.
Song Yu drinks as the uncle identifies Zhang Yameng, encouraging Lele to enjoy his time off over the weekend. A chibi panel shows Song Yu watching Lele intently while the boy eats a snack of dried shredded pork.
Chewing on a piece of jerky, the senior listens as the uncle asks if the girl is considered pretty.
The mother wonders if the girl likes our Lele, causing a sharp reaction from the senior in the corner. While the uncle teases the boy for being shy, the mother tells him to stop bothering the young student.
Lele offers to return the jacket, but Song Yu tells him to just wash it before heading upstairs alone.
The uncle warns Lele that silent types like his brother often suffer when they eventually fall for someone.
The parents reminisce about their own romance, while a chibi Lele announces he is full and ready for bed.
Standing at the base of the stairs, Lele realizes his senior brother accidentally left his backpack behind.
Approaching the room, Lele notices the sound of running water has suddenly stopped,
leaving the hallway in quiet.
The boy tentatively peers through the partially open door, wondering if his brother is still occupied inside the room. Lele stumbles forward, crashing directly into his shirtless brother who has just stepped out of the shower. With a startled, "Ah!" Lele looks up at his wet senior, who looks down at him with an intense gaze.
Song Yu catches the flustered boy by the waist, his damp black hair dripping water onto his bare skin. Time seems to freeze as a single drop of water falls, and Lele stares in stunned silence at his senior.
Returning the bag, Lele remembers their childhood baths together, while a chibi flashback shows them playing in the tub.
Flustered, Lele announces he is heading to his room, desperately wanting to escape the awkward encounter. Song Yu suddenly stops him, prompting a confused reaction from a chibi Lele and his shirtless brother.
The shirtless senior asks for his clothes back, his calm gaze making the younger boy even more nervous. Standing at the bedroom door, Song Yu bluntly suggests Lele remove the jacket immediately to return it.
Looking down with an embarrassed expression, Lele clutches his shoulders as he prepares to comply with the request.
Song Yu watches the brown-haired boy with a quiet, observant intensity, his expression remaining unreadable and cool. Lele avoids eye contact, feeling a lingering sense of awkwardness after the close proximity with his brother. Under a clear sky, Song Yu departs from the house dressed in a sharp black button-down shirt. While eating breakfast, Lele watches his brother leave, noting the senior's departure before his important speech. Disguised in a black panda hoodie and mask, Lele rushes out, claiming he is running late for plans. Inside the subway station, Lele carefully tracks his brother from a distance, hoping to remain completely unnoticed. Lele reflects on his secret plan, choosing to follow his brother instead of attending the birthday party alone.
Chibi panels depict Lele comically hiding behind other passengers to maintain his cover while stalking his older brother.
In a pink subway car, Song Yu stands stoically, while a conspicuous Lele crouches nearby, thinking he's hidden. Following the crowd up the station stairs, Lele keeps a close eye on the black-clad figure ahead of him.
Spotting a woman and child struggling with a large pink suitcase, Lele pauses his tracking to offer assistance.
The kind-hearted boy steps forward to help with the heavy luggage, momentarily forgetting his mission to follow Song Yu.
A close-up shows the pink suitcase as Lele sets it down safely at the top of the stairs.
The woman thanks him profusely, while Lele thoughtfully advises her to use the elevator for the child's safety.
Suddenly panicking, Lele realizes his detour has caused him to lose track of his brother's whereabouts in the station.
He frantically scans the busy terminal, looking for any sign of his brother's distinctive black shirt and tall frame. Feeling defeated, Lele wonders if he has truly lost his brother, or if Song Yu realized he was being followed.
Giving up on the search, Lele decides to buy milk tea and head home, treating the trip as a stroll.
Brightening up, he orders his favorite sweet milk green tea with coconut pearls to lift his spirits.
Horror strikes as Lele realizes he left his phone at home and carries no cash for the drink.
A chibi Lele frantically shakes his hoodie pockets, hoping to find some spare change hidden in the fabric. Feeling incredibly embarrassed, the boy contemplates the awkward task of telling the worker he cannot pay for the tea. The shop employee cheerfully presents the finished drink, unaware of the young customer's internal financial crisis. When asked for payment via app or cash, Lele stammers, dreading the inevitable scolding for his forgetfulness.
A familiar hand appears with a phone, and Song Yu's voice coolly announces he will pay via WeChat.
Shocked and frozen, Lele recognizes his brother's presence immediately as his heart skips a beat in surprise.
Song Yu completes the transaction, his sudden appearance catching the disguised younger boy completely off guard.
Much to Lele's dismay, Song Yu casually takes the tea and begins drinking it himself, claiming it is sweet.
Looking down at his brother, Song Yu asks why he came all this way, despite the clumsy disguise. Song Yu demands to know why Lele followed him, while the boy admits he just wanted to watch secretly.
Lele complains that he wasn't informed about the important citywide election speech, causing him to resort to stalking. Song Yu stares back with a calm, stoic expression, absorbing the younger boy's frustrated and honest explanation.
The senior dismissively claims he only notifies those with appointments, sparking an indignant and defensive response from Lele.
Suddenly, Song Yu reaches out and pulls the boy close by his hoodie, surprising the flustered Lele once again.
With a short, simple acknowledgement, the senior indicates he understands Lala's intentions as they stand close together. Song Yu tells his brother to look ahead, guiding him through the crowd with a firm but steady presence. Holding the boy securely from behind, the black-haired senior leads him forward, their height difference very apparent. Song Yu teases him for being a little social butterfly who forgot his phone, annoying the pouty chibi Lele. He reminds Lele to bring his phone next time he decides to follow someone secretly in the city. Song Yu warns that if Lele gets lost again, he won't come looking for him. His tone remains firm. The word again echoes in Lele's mind, triggering a sudden, long-buried memory from his early childhood years. A flashback reveals an 8-year-old Song Yu holding a 5-year-old Lele's hand during a trip to the park. The young brothers walk past a vendor with colorful balloons, the little boy eyeing the treats with excitement. Little Lele, with cute animal ears and a tail effect, points excitedly at a bright red fish-shaped balloon. Young Song Yu holds an ice cream cone and change, looking like a responsible older brother even at a young age.
Lele searches the crowd as a dashed silhouette on his phone highlights a missing presence.
A childhood memory surfaces of a staff member assuring a lonely Lele that his brother is waiting. In the past, a young, black-haired Song Yu sits alone on a sofa, weeping over melting ice cream. Tears stream down young Song Yu's face, marking the first and last time Lele ever saw him cry. In the present, the brothers stand outside a grand hall, as Lele identifies their bond as a family relationship. At a registration desk, the boys provide their names while a volunteer questions the nature of their connection. Song Yu confirms their status with a single, steady word, his expression calm and unwavering.
The volunteer hands over their certificates, directing the black-haired senior and his brother toward the volunteer arrangements. A woman leads the pair through the sunlit auditorium, gesturing for them to take their seats.
Song Yu and Lele stand together in the rows of chairs, the warm light of the hall surrounding them. The brown-haired boy looks up with a curious and slightly confused expression as he observes their surroundings. A cheerful, brown-haired senior named Sha Jishu waves a friendly greeting alongside his quiet companion, Su Qichen.
Song Yu speaks with the newcomers, discussing their academic backgrounds and the competitive nature of their rival high schools.
Xia Jishu leans in close to Shu Qichen, explaining how their different study paths led to an eventual class separation.
Lele watches the two seniors with wide eyes, seemingly struck by the close and comfortable dynamic they share.
Stepping forward, Lele introduces himself as Song Yu's family member while two small chibi heads watch from below. Xia Jishu smiles broadly, repeating the phrase family member as he takes in the young boy's appearance. The brown-haired senior laughs off his earlier misunderstanding, noting that the two brothers don't look alike at all.
A chibi Lele with dog ears sparkles as Sha Jishu admires his fair skin and bright, expressive eyes.
Lele clarifies that while they aren't related, he lives in Song Yu's house, prompting a thoughtful look from the senior.
Song Yu delivers a silent, sharp glare toward Sha Jishu, who begins to sweat nervously under the intense pressure. The seniors express their desire for a cute younger brother, while Lele insists once more on their non-biological bond. Shu Qichen offers a polite introduction and a firm handshake, welcoming the brown-haired boy into their conversation. As they discuss the timing of his birth, Song Yu watches Lele and Shu Qichen interact with a quiet intensity.
Xia Zhishu points out a poetic connection between the characters in Lele and Song Yu's names.
A chibi diagram explains how stones from other mountains can be used to polish precious jade, linking their names.
Lele reflects on the unexpected connection their names share while gazing at his stoic brother.
Song Yu dismisses the name analysis as nonsense, urging everyone to move as the speeches are about to begin. Placing a protective hand near the boy, Song Yu tells Lele to sit still and avoid running around.
Lele compares the two departing seniors to inseparable ice pops while Song Yu watches them walk away.
Sha Ji-shu appears on the screen as an outstanding student, his bright smile captured during a public address.
Shu Ki-chen is also highlighted for his academic excellence, his calm demeanor contrasting with his more energetic friend.
Standing tall at the podium, Song Yu prepares to speak, his dark shirt and serious gaze commanding the room's attention.
Lele watches in awe, feeling that the stage light naturally gravitates towards Song Yu's confident shoulders.
After the session, the group gathers outside where Xia Jishu asks Song Yu about his confidence in the upcoming results.
The sound of rain suddenly fills the air as heavy droplets begin to fall over the school grounds.
In a cute chibi moment, the four boys realize they are all stranded without a single umbrella.
Sha Ji-shu points across the street, suggesting they grab a meal at a nearby Japanese restaurant until it clears.
Sha and Shu dash into the downpour together, using a single jacket to shield themselves while Lele watches.
Lele holds out his own jacket to Song Yu, offering to share it just like the other pair.
The brown-haired boy beams with a radiant smile, determined to shield his brother from the soaking rain.
Song Yu stares at the boy before stating that their relationship is fundamentally different from the two seniors.
Looking out at the rain, Song Yu cryptically reveals that Sha Ji-shu and Su Ki-chen are not just friends.
Song Yu pulls Lele's hood over his head, declaring that they are not simply brothers either.
A soft blur of rain surrounds the scene as Lele struggles to decipher the true meaning behind Song Yu's words.
Now safely inside the restaurant, Lele rests his chin on his hand, looking deeply lost in thought.
Song Yu leans in and asks the boy what is on his mind after their puzzling conversation in the rain.
Lele quickly claims he was only thinking about bubble tea as the four boys sit together at the table.
Sha Ji-shu eagerly reads the dessert menu aloud, debating between the various Japanese sweets and cakes.
The senior apologizes for his focus on desserts, explaining that Shu Ki-chen has low blood sugar and a sweet tooth.
At a ramen shop, Lele asks the black-haired Song Yu if he has ever visited the place before.
In a cute chibi moment, an excited Lele points out all the dishes he loves on the menu.
The group discusses drinks, noting Lele can't have beer, while the brown-haired boy expresses his love for glutinous rice.
A waiter brings green-orange colas, and Lele appreciates how comfortable and affable his seniors are.
The brown-haired senior, Shu Ki-chen, offers a piece of his food to his black-haired companion.
Shu Ki-chen warns his friend to drink less cold liquid, making Lele reflect on the closeness of their bond.
Narrative text describes an invisible thread representing the deep, unspoken connection shared between the two seniors.
Lele observes the seniors, feeling the weight of the invisible thread that seems to intertwine their lives. Drinking from his cup, Lele senses that the connection between the two seniors is remarkably unique and strange.
Over sushi and desserts, the seniors discuss midterm successes and their future plans for the college entrance exams. Lele eats his food delicately with chopsticks, prompting a comment on his refined manner of dining. Lele mentions his limited diet due to allergies, while Song Yu playfully tells him not to make excuses. Song Yu strictly instructs Lele to eat slowly and drink hot tea to ensure he can enjoy dessert.
Chibi seniors observe Song Yu's strictness, while Lele stays quiet and hides his face behind his cup.
The group continues their meal, discussing college majors and Su Chi-chen's interest in studying computer science.
Shu Ki-chen reveals his plan to follow the black-haired senior to Beijing, much to the group's amusement.
The black-haired senior questions the agreement, while Lele notices Shu Senior's ears turning red from embarrassment.
Lele turns to Song Yu and asks about his own college plans, but his brother remains non-committal.
The conversation shifts to students going abroad, and a senior asks Song Yu if he is preparing for that.
Lele looks up with a trace of concern,
his thoughts lingering on the painful possibility of his brother leaving. Song Yu eats calmly, stating that going abroad isn't necessarily his definitive plan for the future. Lele worries about how many years his brother might be away, and if they would only meet during vacations. A sad chibi Lele wonders how few vacation days a student gets in a year at foreign universities. Song Yu pulls Lele out of his thoughts, asking why he is spacing out instead of finishing his meal.
Lele tries the tempura but finds it mediocre, while the group discusses high school departments and avoiding extra classes.
Looking down at his bowl, Lele reflects on the inevitability of parting ways once they finish their schooling. The group prepares to leave, with the seniors settling the bill and Shu Chi-chen mentioning a future meal. At the counter, the smiling cashier processes the payment for the group's dinner before they head home.
On the subway, the proximity between the two brothers increases as they stand close together in the car.
Song Yu's hand brushes near Lele as they hold on to the subway poles during the quiet ride.
The senior looks at his younger brother with a calm, observant gaze as the train moves forward.
Song Yu continues to watch Lele, noticing his quiet and reflective mood after the shared meal.
The senior observes that Lele looks unusually gloomy today, instead of his usual post-meal satisfaction. Song Yu asks if the mediocre tempura is the reason for the boy's current state of disappointment.
Lele looks up at his brother, his expression filled with unspoken thoughts about their eventual future.
The two stand in silence amidst the glowing lights of the subway car as it travels.
After parting ways with the seniors at the station, Lele and Song Yu continue their journey alone.
Chibi seniors remark on how likable Lele is, while a sudden achoo sounds from the black-haired senior.
The brothers ride the subway together, surrounded by other passengers in the quiet, brightly lit car. Lele wonders why he can't grow taller than Song Yu despite his unique mixed-race heritage.
Song Yu asks why Lele, prompting the boy to ask if he's really going abroad.
Lele's gaze remains fixed on his brother as he awaits a definitive answer about his future plans.
Song Yu looks away, admitting that he honestly hasn't given the idea of going abroad much thought yet.
Lele begs him not to consider it, feeling that losing his brother to a foreign country is impossible.
The boy's attention is briefly drawn to a couple standing together on the train near them. A close-up reveals Lel's deep contemplation as he observes the world around him in the quiet subway.
A memory of the seniors sharing a jacket in the rain resurfaces as Lele recalls their mysterious bond. Song Yu explains that the two seniors are not ordinary friends, hinting at a much deeper relationship. Lele realizes that their bond is exceptionally good, even if it's hard for him to define. Remembering Song Yu's kindness, Lele concludes that even if they aren't real brothers, being friends is great. On the subway, the brown-haired boy looks up at his tall, black-haired brother with a look of admiration. Song Yu turns slightly, his calm and handsome features illuminated by the train's soft interior lighting. A flashback reveals Song Yu's cold childhood dismissal of making friends with kids, prompting little Lele's hopeful inquiry.
Standing together, the brown-haired boy expresses a heartfelt wish to grow up faster and become his senior's true friend.
Seated on the train, Lele slumps forward, overcome by a sudden wave of exhaustion that catches him off guard.
Drowsy and pale, the boy wonders if his sleepiness is caused by his meal or the morning's cold medicine.
Leela's eyes drift shut as he begins to nod off. His head tilting dangerously close to his brother's shoulder.
Song Yu's hand reaches out with gentle precision to pull the boy's hood over his sleepy, resting face.
The senior carefully adjusts the fabric, watching over the blushing, sleeping boy with a quiet and protective gaze.
Time slows down as Lele finally rests his head on Song Yu's shoulder, punctuated by a sudden, soft click. A passenger notices the two handsome boys and contemplates taking a secret photo to post on social media.
A chibi Song Yu glares intensely at the woman, successfully scaring her off before she can snap a picture.
Reflecting on Leilei's lifelong habit of car sleepiness, Song-yu pulls his own hood up to hide his subtle smile. The senior stares ahead with a stoic expression, lost in his own thoughts while the train rumbles forward quietly. Song-yu checks his phone, revealing he was the one who took a sneaky photo of the sleeping boy. Standing near the doors, the black-haired senior scrolls through his device while Leilei remains tucked safely behind him. Looking at the screen, the senior realizes Leilei doesn't even have his phone to receive the cheeky secret message. Song-yu watches his sleeping brother, regretting that he cannot retract the photo he already sent to the boy. 2 months pass, and the air is filled with the sweet, blooming scent of yellow osmanthus flowers. Aunt Rong calls the boys out to help harvest the blossoms to prepare a fresh batch of sweet syrup. Leilei uses a long pole to often shake the branches, delighting in the sweet fragrance that fills the garden air. Song-yu stands nearby, acknowledging the pleasant scent with a simple, quiet grunt as he watches the boy work. Aunt Rong warns them to leave some flowers on the tree so they can still enjoy the natural aroma. Excited by the harvest, Leilei calculates how many bottles of syrup and candied treats they can make together. A sudden bonk sounds as Song-yu playfully taps the brown-haired boy on the head with his pole. Leilei clutches his head in exaggerated shock, staring at his brother who remains completely unfazed and calm. While rushing to tattle to Aunt Rong, the clumsy boy slips on a patch of fallen flowers and grass. With a startled gasp, Leilei loses his balance and begins to fall backward, his arms flailing in the air. Song-yu moves with lightning speed, catching the falling boy around the waist and pulling him into a close embrace. They stand locked together in the garden, petals falling around them as the senior holds the boy securely. Song-yu tells him to stop fooling around, while a flustered Leilei insists that his brother started the mischief. The black-haired senior identifies the source of the trouble, noting the many flowers currently stuck in the boy's hair. Leilei points out that Song-yu is exactly the same, with several yellow blossoms caught in his own dark hair. Back inside, the family sorts the dried flowers at the table, though a chibi Leilei complains of sore eyes. Song-yu reflects on the process, noting that the time spent together is what truly makes the food delicious. The senior explains that the effort invested in someone makes them important, much like the rose in his book. A flashback shows Song-yu as a child reading The Little Prince by lamplight while a young Leilei sleeps nearby. A composite panel links the childhood memory of the rose to the current warmth of the brothers' shared time. Aunt Rong cheers as the osmanthus sugar is finally finished, showing off several jars of the golden, sweet treat. The woman encourages the hardworking students to eat plenty of sugar to fuel their difficult school days ahead. Leilei holds a jar, announcing his intention to give one to Senior Su Chi-chen to cheer him up. Aunt Rong's expression softens as she recalls how pitiful little Shu seemed during their last conversation about him. She notes that despite his tragic past, the boy is exceptionally smart and destined for a prestigious university. Leilei notices his mother's failed attempt to change the subject and asks for more details about the senior's past. Song-yu solemnly explains that Senior Shu lost both of his parents in a tragic car accident years ago. Stunned by the news, Leilei realizes the senior was his own age when his world was completely turned upside down. A flashback shows the kind-hearted Senior Shu smiling, explaining why he dislikes being viewed with pity by others. With newfound determination, Leilei carefully selects the jar with the most sugar to give to his resilient senior friend. Standing before the school board, Leilei beams with pride as he points out Song-yu's award-winning student photo. Chibi Leilei strikes a cute pose with fox ears and a tail while a friend takes photos. The brown-haired boy continues his playful photo shoot, beaming with a bright and cheerful expression. Leilei forms a heart with his arms, radiating pure joy in front of the school bulletin board. On Monday, a memory surfaces of Leilei's mother asking the brothers to behave while she is away. Leilei walks through the quiet school corridor, his mind focused as he carries a special glass jar. The boy thinks about the Osmanthus sugar he brought for a classmate who always arrives just in time. Lela's black-haired friend asks about the jar just before a sudden, jarring collision disrupts their peaceful conversation. A close-up shows Leela's hands gripping the jar of sugar tightly to prevent it from falling and breaking.
A group of arrogant students walks away, tossing a sharp command for Lele to behave himself.
Leela's friend urges him to ignore the group, sensing the underlying tension in the empty hallway.
The friend identifies one of the boys as Wang Jie, a notorious troublemaker from the neighboring class.
They discuss a student named Chang Mingming who skipped a grade and frequently suffers from intense bullying.
Lele listens to the details of the extortion Chang Mingming faces, his expression turning cold and determined.
The brown-haired boy expresses his disgust, believing that bullying vulnerable students requires no skill at all.
Lele walks toward a dark hallway, his demeanor shifting as he approaches a developing conflict.
Entering the restroom, Lele finds two students and questions their suspicious actions in the private area.
A student tells Lele to wash later, but the boy stays firm, noticing something wrong inside. Outside the door, a bully tries to block Lele while shouting orders to those inside the room.
Inside, Wang Jie and his group corner Chang Mingming, demanding money while the victim protests in fear.
Lele steps into the scene and calls out to Wang Jie, immediately drawing the bully's aggressive attention.
Wang Jie turns around with a sneer, questioning why Lele is daring to interrupt his business.
Lele reminds the group of the upcoming self-study session, but Wang Ji dismisses him with mocking insults. The brown-haired boy sighs, realizing that a peaceful resolution is impossible with such an arrogant opponent. Looking the bully directly in the eye, Lele delivers a blunt command to stop mistreating their classmates.
The group mocks Lele's attempt at heroism as Wang Jie launches a sudden and violent physical attack.
Lele surprises the bullies with his immense strength, pushing them back while helping Chang Mingming to his feet. Standing protectively over the victim, Lele demands that the group return the stolen money immediately.
Wang Jie reacts with fury, lashing out at Lele for meddling in what he considers his own business.
Despite the physical confrontation, Lele reflects on his desire to avoid trouble and unnecessary fighting.
The boy realizes he is outnumbered and reflects on his lifelong habit of staying out of the spotlight.
Searching for a solution, Lele decides to imitate the calm and authoritative manner of his brother, Song Yu.
Lele warns that keeping the money is robbery, a crime that warrants immediate reporting to the police.
He points out the witnesses and security cameras, layering pressure on the bullies to back down.
Wang Jie attempts to maintain his tough exterior, but the threat of legal consequences clearly rattles him.
The bullies panic at the mention of a police statement, while Lele internally admits he is bluffing. Lele ensures Chang Mingming has his money back before deciding it is time to leave the scene. As they depart, the bullies hurl bitter insults, frustrated by Lele's successful interference in their plans. Lele leads the way out of the hallway, still feeling the lingering tension of the dangerous encounter. A close-up shows Lele looking pale and exhausted, his eyes reflecting the stress of the physical fight. News of the brawl spreads through the school, mentioning that the vice principal has been alerted. A student expresses total disbelief that the well-behaved Lele would ever participate in such a fierce fight. A crowd gathers near the office windows, whispering about the dramatic events that took place.
Lele's friend looks on with a stunned expression, unable to reconcile the rumors with his gentle friend.
Inside the office, the vice principal shouts in anger, scolding the students for their blatant rule-breaking.
Lele stands stoically before the teacher, his uniform messy and his expression silent under the scolding.
Close-up details reveal several bruises on Lele's face, highlighting the severity of the fight he endured.
Outside, students joke that Lele must have been possessed to take on 4 bullies by himself. The group discusses how impressive it is that Lele stood his ground against such overwhelming odds.
Friends explain the long-standing grudge and fear that Lele may end up taking the blame for everything.
The scene transitions to the office, where the teacher demands a full explanation of why the fight began. In the office, the middle student denies any wrongdoing, while a bruised Lele remains stoically silent.
The teacher, Mr. Wang, looks at Lei Jishi through his glasses and demands the truth about the incident. Questioning the boy's unusual behavior, the teacher asks why a well-behaved student would suddenly resort to fighting.
Lele admits to violating school rules and asks Mr. Wang to issue his punishment directly without further delay. A classmate bursts into the room, reporting that Lejishi was actually defending another student from a bully.
The witness insists that Jiang Yufan was not present, urging the teacher not to involve him in the discipline. The black-haired bully, Wang Ji, angrily claims that Lele punched him for no reason during their encounter.
Despite the defense from his classmate, Lele quietly admits to the teacher that he was the one who started it.
The office remains tense as Lele admits he simply wanted to hit the bully, leaving the teachers stunned.
Mr. Wang sighs deeply, refusing to waste more time debating who was at fault in the messy altercation.
The teacher notes the mistakes of both students, ordering them to reflect on their actions while threatening parent contact. In another classroom, a student informs Song Yu that a fight involving the middle schoolers has escalated.
While his friend dismisses the news as boring gossip, Song Yu listens intently, his expression growing serious.
The atmosphere shifts as the student reveals that Li Jishi was the one who got into the physical fight.
Song Yu's hand stops mid-sentence, his focus entirely broken by the news of his younger brother's trouble.
Back in the office, Mr. Wang gives Lele water and kindly asks for the real story in private.
Lele refuses to explain but promises never to fight again, worrying about how his parents and Aunt Rong will react.
The teacher respects the boy's privacy, but reminds him that violence is never a suitable solution for any problem.
Placing a hand on Lele's shoulder, Mr. Wang encourages him to seek help from teachers or others next time.
A chibi Lele winces as the school nurse treats his facial wound while the concerned teacher watches nearby. Standing before the class, a chibi Lele reads his self-reflection while Mr. Wang stands by his side. The teacher addresses the class, using the fight as a stern warning against using violence to solve conflicts. Lele's friend checks on his injury, but the boy smiles broadly, proud that he also landed a punch. Lele shares a jar of fresh Osmanthus candy with his friend, mentioning it was harvested with his brother.
Panic strikes Lele as his friend suggests that Song Yu likely already knows about the school fight.
While everyone else thinks the fight was cool, Lele frets over his damaged image and his brother's reaction. The boy ignores the social media buzz, dreading nothing more than having to face Song Yu with a bruise. Declining dinner with friends, Lele stays behind to finish homework, hoping to sneak home and hide in his room. Alone in the quiet room, Lele struggles to focus on his math proof as the morning's events haunt him.
A sudden presence startles the boy, causing him to look up from his desk in the empty classroom. Lele is shocked to see Song Yu standing before him, his perfect plan to avoid his brother instantly ruined. Song Yu looks down at the desk, questioning the logic of the boy's math problem with a calm voice.
Lele stares in disbelief, wondering if his brother is real or if he is simply hallucinating from the stress.
The senior explains the math proof while Lele blushes, realizing his brother came specifically to find him.
Song Yu tells him to stop studying and go back for dinner, his tone firm but not angry.
Surprised that they aren't going to the cafeteria, Lele follows his brother out of the school building.
Walking home, Lele feels certain his brother knows about the fight and waits for the inevitable scolding.
The boy steals a glance at Song Yu, relieved that his brother's expression remains calm and composed. Observing his brother's hand, Lele is reminded of a childhood memory when they walked home together like this. A flashback reveals a bruised young Song Yu offering his hand to a crying little Lele after a fight. The young brothers walked home together, one protecting the other, even back then after a rough afternoon.
In the present, Lele tentatively reaches out,
wanting to hold his brother's hand just like they did years ago. Their quiet walk is interrupted by a sudden vibration as Song Yu's phone receives a new message.
Song Yu stops to check his device, while a nervous Lele watches him from behind, fearing a confrontation.
The senior stares at the screen, while Lele remains frozen, unsure if the scolding is finally about to happen.
A friend's message teases Song Yu about being too hard on Lele and asks who will cook dinner tonight.
Arriving home, the brothers are greeted by a fluffy white dog barking a cheerful woof woof in the yard. Lele happily hugs the dog, then asks his brother what they will eat and if he can cook.
Putting on an apron, Song Yu checks the fridge while Lele excitedly requests hot pot and cake for dinner.
Lele smiles shyly, relieved and happy to be home with his brother despite the day's difficult events.
The black-haired senior gazes softly ahead, his expression warm as he prepares to cook for his brother.
Wearing an apron, Song Yu begins preparing dinner, while Lele offers to help him wash the fresh vegetables.
The senior watches closely as the brown-haired boy begins rinsing lettuce under the steady stream of the kitchen faucet. A splash sounds as Lele washes the leaves, his bruised and battered hand a stark contrast to the water.
Hearing a sudden click as Song Yu turns off the burner, a confused Lele pauses his work to look up.
Song Yu stops the boy, pointing out that the lettuce wasn't washed thoroughly enough to meet his high standards. The senior tells him to simply watch, while Lele reflects on how long it has been since their last shared meal. A flashback reveals a young Song Yu cooking alone after a maid's meal caused Lele to have a severe allergic reaction.
In a heartwarming memory, the black-haired boy serves a bowl of rice to a delighted younger Lele at the table.
Back in the present, Song Yu serves blueberry pancakes, and an excited Lele prepares to enjoy the homemade feast.
Lili eats happily, his face still bruised, firmly believing that a delicious meal can solve any of life's problems.
Song Yu watches the boy eat with a serious gaze, his thoughts hidden as he observes his younger brother's injuries.
The kitchen remains quiet as the senior suddenly stands up from the table while Lele finishes his dinner bowl.
Song Yu hands over a cold compress, noting that he expected the boy to bring home some kind of injury.
Lele applies the ice to his bruised cheek, admitting he knows he looks a bit rough after the day's fight.
Pressing the ice to his face, the brown-haired boy regrets that he didn't manage to dodge the bully's final punch. Lele admits to himself that he only truly cares about his appearance when it comes to his brother's opinion.
A soft click sounds as Song Yu sets down his chopsticks and addresses Lijishi by his full name.
The senior asks if the boy regrets getting into a physical altercation with the other students earlier that day.
Lele insists he has no regrets, claiming he didn't provoke the trouble without a very good and valid reason.
The boy tries to explain he didn't intend to fight, but Song Yu interrupts, stating that he already knows. Lele looks up with wide, surprised eyes, shocked that his brother is being so understanding about the school incident.
Song Yu asks what the bully said, noting that Lele kept the details secret even when the teacher questioned him.
Lele reveals the bully insulted his late parents, admitting he only feels comfortable showing his vulnerability to Song Yu.
The black-haired senior listens with a somber expression, his gaze fixed on his brother as the heavy truth settles.
Song Yu breaks the tension by asking who actually won the fight, leaving a stunned Lele at a loss.
A chibi flashback shows Lele landing a decisive punch, proudly declaring his victory over the group of school bullies.
The 1-on-4 battle is depicted in a playful chibi style, showing Lele's surprising strength during the messy schoolyard brawl.
Lele explains he only got hit because he was distracted by someone shouting that a teacher was finally arriving.
The boy claims the injury only stung a little, while Song Yu reaches out to hand him a clean tissue.
After wiping Lele's mouth, Song Yu heads to his room for a nap, while the family pets sleep peacefully nearby.
Song Yu lies on his bed, his eyes closed in rest, until a light knock-knock sounds at the door. Lele peeks through the doorway, tentatively asking his brother if he can sleep in the same room with him. The senior opens his eyes and stares at the boy,
his silent expression unreadable as he considers the sudden request.
Song Yu asks what is wrong, and a persistent Lele repeats his desire to sleep beside his older brother. The room remains quiet as the senior continues to gaze at the boy, who waits hopefully at the bedroom door.
To Lele's immense joy, his brother doesn't refuse, allowing the brown-haired boy to finally enter the quiet, sunlit room. Lele puts on a cute dog-themed sleep mask, prompting a curious Song Yu to ask what the accessory is for.
Song Yu tells him to sleep quickly, while Lele recalls snuggling with his brother during heavy rainstorms as a child.
The boy remembers feeling his brother's steady heartbeat through his skin, which always provided a deep sense of security.
In the present, Lele leans his head against Song Yu's back, finding the same comfort he felt years ago.
They lie together in the quiet room, Lele feeling a hypnotic peace that makes him wish this moment lasted forever. The scene fades into a dark, patterned void as the boy's consciousness drifts away into a deep, troubled sleep. A nightmare takes hold as Lele sees his parents fading away, telling him they can no longer be with him.
Traumatic memories resurface as the voices of strangers call him a pitiful orphan and judge him for being fostered.
The cruel labels of others echo through the darkness, overwhelming the sleeping boy with the pain of his past. A young Lele covers his ears in the dream, desperately shouting for the mocking voices to finally leave him alone. The child tries to call out for Song Yu, but his voice fails as the suffocating nightmare continues to haunt him. Lele wakes up with a start, tears streaming down his face as Song Yu urgently calls his name to help him. Song Yu holds the boy's shoulder, comforting him as Lele realizes he was only having a terrible nightmare. Lele tells Song Yu he's going back to sleep after his bad dream about people chasing him. Song Yu calls out to Le Jishi, who responds with a soft hum while remaining on the pillow. The senior remarks on how often Lele cried as a child, while the boy feels a lump in his throat. Hiding his face under his dog-themed sleep mask, Lele trembles and struggles to hold back his tears. Song Yu gently places a hand on the boy's shoulder and softly invites him to come closer.
Lele pulls up his mask, his eyes red and face flushed as he gazes tearfully at his brother.
Song Yu pulls the sobbing boy into a hug, jokingly complaining about Lele dirtying his bed. Resting against his brother's chest, the brown-haired boy admits that his tears are because of Song Yu.
Song Yu tells him to wash his clothes if they get dirty, while Lele finally releases a loud cry.
In a quiet chibi moment, the brothers stay close on the bed as the senior explains a deep truth. Holding his brother tightly, Lele reflects on the day's fight and the teacher's recent stern lecture.
Lele reveals he struggles to remember his parents, though Song Yu reminds him of the bedside photos.
A beautiful flashback depicts Lele's parents' wedding day, featuring a young Song Yu as a cute flower child. Young Song Yu stands with a flower basket, representing Lele's initial impression of a perfect, albeit fragile, marriage.
Song Yu describes Lele's mother as a beautiful woman who spoke softly and cooked delicious stuffed pasta. The senior recounts how Lele's father gave him a hand-drawn map as a special, worldly birthday gift.
Lele feels a pang of sadness, realizing his father never had the chance to draw a map for him. Song Yu comforts him, suggesting his father likely planned to draw one after his next big mountaineering achievement.
A series of chibi panels shows the brothers shifting around on the bed throughout the long night.
Song Yu observes the sleeping boy, noting that putting Lele to sleep remains a difficult task. The next day, Song Yu rides his bicycle while Lele happily buys fresh chestnuts for the way home. A red-haired friend eagerly asks to see Lele's glory record after hearing about the school fight. While the friend praises his boldness, Lele maintains that fighting is not something to be proud of.
Song Yu tells Lele to go inside and invites him to study in the 5th floor activity room.
Leela's eyes sparkle as he learns about the study rooms, excited to visit room 5 later.
Lele tells Song Yu he can't finish the chestnuts, while the black-haired senior listens calmly.
A chibi Lele sings happily while Song Yu asks why he is so excited during their walk. A brown paper bag filled with peeled chestnuts is shown as Pei tells someone to shut up.
The school bell rings for the end of self-study as a chibi Lele rushes toward his destination. Lele arrives at the activity room, beaming with joy after looking forward to this moment all day.
A student recognizes Lele, who realizes he's been spotted as he enters the room.
Feeling embarrassed about being seen by Song Yu's brother, Lele sits down before a girl addresses him. The long-haired girl asks if he is Lejishi, praising him for helping a classmate that morning.
As she mentions his fame among the girls, Lele shyly asks why she hasn't gone home yet.
The girl reveals she is waiting for her boyfriend, leaving a stunned Lele to stutter in surprise.
When asked about his own plans, Lele explains he is waiting for his senior, Song Yu.
Surprised by the news, the girl questions if they are really brothers and if they live together.
Chibi Lele encourages her to get back to studying, and she apologizes